The film begins by a person named Poe, who is a reckless young man who spends most of his time in nightclubs, until one day someone annoys him and beats him. Then one of his father's men named Kai intervenes and stops the others from hitting him. Then Kai asks him to leave the nightclub, but the others decide to attack Kai, who beats them up. They pulled their guns on him until the owner of the nightclub pulled out his gun and told them to leave. Kai talks to her and tells him that they are at war and he should not go out alone or fight with anyone. But Paul was not satisfied, then got in the car and left. The next day, Poe's body was found murdered in a horrific way. The news reaches his father, saying, "We see a person named Isaac who receives a phone call from someone telling him that Singh's son has passed away." Then he asks Mac to go to him, to console him, and to find who killed his son in prison. We see a person named Horn who receives the news of his brother's death in America. He gets angry and gets into a fight with the guards. He is taken to a room to be tortured, but he is a combative person as he managed to hit the guard and take the keys. And then he untied his chains and left the prison after he wore the guard's uniform. Isaac went to console Singh and told him that none of his men would think of killing his son, and he told him that he would look for his son's killer and bring him himself. In fact, he was afraid that Singh would think that it was Isaac's men who killed his son. So he asks his assistant, Mac, to protect his son and daughter 24 hours a day. We see his daughter, Trish. When Morris came to her and told her that he would stay to protect her by order of her father. But she was not satisfied with that, and then rode with him in the barber shop. A package arrives to the owner of the shop, and then he gives it to the customer to open it. But surprisingly, when they opened the package, there was a strong explosion. Trish goes to the store to buy some stuff while Morris is busy singing. John goes to the taxi driver and asks him to take him to an address, but the driver refuses, which made John steal his car. But Trish rides with him in the car and asks him to move because she ran away from Morris. After that, he refuses to take money from her, and then she goes and he was watching her. After that, we see Colin calling his father, Isaac, and telling him that Farhad called him before he died, who told him that he had a solution to end the war between them. Isaac is surprised and tells Cohen to come to him quickly. Horn went to his brother's house and was looking at their old photos. After that, he calls the last number his brother called and discovers that it is the same store where Trish was. Mac talks to Trish and tells her that she has to accept that someone protects her because it's dangerous, but she refuses. He got angry and went to Morris and beat him and told him that he would leave some men with him to watch over her. After that, Colin arrives at his father's office. Isaac tells his son that they have an illegal mission in their business, and if this mission succeeds, they will leave all the illegal business, but he has to protect him and his sister. Then Mac comes and tells him about the barbershop bombing. He tells him that they have to get rid of everything as soon as possible because the situation is not safe. John goes to Trish's house and tells her that he came to inquire about the number his brother called before he was killed. She tells him that he may have spoken to any girl who works there, but Morris arrives with the rest of the gang to protect her. So she asks him to leave the window quickly, but he pretended to be a delivery guy who was doing his job. But when Morris didn't find any food, he chased him. But John manages to beat them up with ease and then steals their car and leaves. Then he goes to his brother's funeral and he puts the basketball they were playing with next to him. Then he meets his father. We discover that John has been imprisoned in order for his brother and father to escape to America, and he told him that there was a promise between them to protect his brother. So he decided to avenge his brother's death on his own. His father tried to prevent him from doing so, but he left and went to Kai to ask him about the person who killed his brother. But he told him that they did not know who killed him. Then he tells him that the day before he was killed had got into a fight in the nightclub with people, and they might have killed him. After that, he goes to Trish and asks her to ask her brother. But Mac notices him and asks Trish about him. She tells him that he is her friend. Mac asks him to play rugby with them. He actually went and played with them and then came to Trish and reminded her of what he had asked her to do. Then Colin was with his girlfriend at home when suddenly there was a knock on the door. An unknown person killed them and threw them out of the window, and no one knows who did that. Trish was angry at her father as she told him that he was the reason for her brother's death. Mac tells Isaac not to do anything until after they complete the deal, and that they will kill the people who killed his son in time. When John returns, he finds the house destroyed. Then he notices a picture of his brother showing his car, so he searches for the car key and finds it. When he got into the car, he found a stick with a paper containing a set of addresses inside it. Then he finds Trish has come to him crying. He asks her what happened. She tells him that her brother was also killed, and that she wants to cooperate with him so that they find out who the killer is. Next, we see a businessman named Ross talking on the phone with a guy named Barry. He told him that they are close to completing the deal and that they have no competitors and that they will control the region on entry. Go to the first address in the paper. They discovered that it is a garage with cars and that all its employees have been killed. Then he found someone's cigarette still burning, so he ran out to find two people riding motorcycles about to escape. But when they saw him, they attacked him with firearms. He and Trish get into the car and make their escape but are chased away. John managed to take someone's gun. Then he collides with the other person and gets into a fight with him. But we discover that she is a Chinese girl. She got into a fight with them, but they managed to get rid of her. After that, he goes to his father and tells him that Isaac was not the one who killed his brother because there was a Chinese girl who tried to attack him in the garage, but his father tried to justify, which made John be surprised. We see Mac threatening a person who owns a fish store to sell this store to him. After that, Kai took his men and went to Singh's accomplices and blew up the boat and killed those inside the boat. Then Kai tells Singh that, and he brought his accomplices to him. He told them that he had to do this in order to control all the area. Then, Singh calls Roth and tells him that the area is now his property, and that he can buy it from him at any time. Isaac goes to his daughter and asks her to come with him. He asks her not to go out with Han, because there is a war between them. Then he assures her that he has nothing to do with Pio's death. Then he takes her to their old house, which has protection and guards. He asks her not to leave and tells her that after he completes his deal, they will get rid of everything. Then Mac knocks on the door and informs Isaac that there is an important call from Roth, who in turn tells him that he is waiting for him to send him the contracts. Horn found out the new home address. She entered the room and was afraid that her father would see him at home. Her father enters the room and tells her that he ordered pizza for her while John hides behind the door. Morris brings food, but when he enters the room, he can't find Trish. John tells Trish that all of the addresses on the paper have been burned or their owners killed, except for one address, which is the nightclub. They went there to find out what was going on. They danced. But the owner of the nightclub saw them and recognized her and asked the security men to bring them. He was angry because he didn't want to sell the nightclub to Trish's father. But Mac enters, and we discover that he is doing this without Isaac's knowledge, and he is trying to force the owner of the nightclub to sell the nightclub to him. When he refuses to sell, he shoots him and then takes Trish hostage, and they catch Horn. John got up and asked them to let him leave, but Morris taunted him, which made John beat him up. After that, he used the water hose and got rid of them. He then punched Morris, who told him of Trish's whereabouts. Then John steals their car and flees. We see Singh, who sold the entire area to Roth and took the money from him. But on his way out, Singh meets Isaac, who also wants to sell his territory. Isaac takes a check for $38 million, but Isaac tells Roth that he wants to become a partner in the club that will be established. But Roth is surprised and tells him that this is not what they agreed upon and asks him for some time to think. Mac was angry that he also wanted to become a partner, so he asked Isaac to step down or he would kill his daughter Trish. Mac was a traitor, which made Isaac try to kill him, but Mac shot him. Roth's men had the bag of contracts, and they took out their guns and killed everyone except Mac and Isaac, and his daughter, and ran away. Roth ran with his men to the helicopter to escape, but Mac chased them and shot them, and he actually managed to get the bag containing the contracts. But his joy is not complete as John arrives. Mac is about to kill John with the gun, but Trish kills him in the nick of time. Then she goes to her father to check on him. Isaac thanking John and admiring his strength. John goes to his father's house and meets Kai, where he finds out that he was the one who killed his brother on his father's orders. This is because the pill would have caused the deal costing millions to fail. Then they get into a strong fight. Kai was a fierce fighter because he was a kung fu master. But John is also a fierce fighter and fire was filling the place. In the end, John manages to knock Kai out with a punch and get rid of him. John goes to his father and was angry at him because he killed his brother. Then he told him that he would not kill him, but would leave him to the police who would do their job. But Singh couldn't stand it and killed himself. After that, Trish meets John and they start a new life.